Hey, everybody, welcome to Q the Next Leader. I'm super excited today. We've got the Car Guy Coffee guys. We've got Fred Lennartz and Lou Rameriz joining us today. Hey, guys, welcome to Team VinQ.
What's going on? How are
Happy to
you?
be here.
We're just so excited. I'm so excited to be able to talk to you guys and to turn the tables because
Yes.
you guys are usually doing the interviewing.
That's right. That's right. We're excited to
I
be
mean,
here. Come on.
how did I get this job?
You know how you took the steps
That's
and you
right.
just kept
That's
moving
right.
forward and you did it. A lot of people talk about it, but most people don't do it, and you're doing it. So let's go.
Making
I'm
it
excited.
Well, you guys are my inspiration. Before I get started though, Lou, come on, tell me about the grandbaby.
Oh my goodness. What can I not tell you about her? That she takes just about all of my thoughts all of the time. She's the screensaver, folks. I mean, this right here, this baby right here makes me young again. She definitely, it seems like she added life to me. I mean, it's a new adventure for my wife and I, and it's an absolute blast, but she is incredible. She's hilarious. And man, does she have some attitude, man, love it.
I wonder where she gets that attitude.
Wow, I wonder too.
All right, well, let's get into it. So let's talk about, I'm really excited about talking to you guys and learning how you got started in the automotive industry, kind of what's your story, what's your background, and let's just start there.
Okay. Well, you got started first, so go ahead.
Yeah, I industry about 20 years ago. Just got out of the Air Force. I was a veteran. Worked on aircraft. I was an aircraft mechanic. Basically, did electronics on the A-10 Warthog. Thank you. Great time. Was an honor to do it. I was a military brat my whole life. My dad was in the Army, so traveled all around the world. Met a lot of great people. Decided to do it myself, and then I got out. Went back to Kentucky. It's where I'm from and where I started in automotive, and just really needed a job one day. And I was looking at an opportunity in a newspaper, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump on it. And why it resonated with me is because I had met a guy, Clint Riggs was his name. And he was in the business for a little bit, and he was doing extremely well. And I remember asking him, I was at his house. I was like, what do you do for a living? And he says, I'm in automotive, and, I'm in automotive sales. I do finance. And I asked him how he became that. And the route that he took to get there was so like, I didn't understand. I couldn't believe it was that not really that easy, but it was that possible for anyone. Like, it wasn't just going to college and getting the education. It was, if you work hard and you come in and you hustle, you put the work in, you can get to this level. And I was like, okay. So it always stayed there. But when I needed a job and I really needed one and I saw the ad, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I went in and did it, not knowing how long. And 20 years later, here I am. And I've built a great relationship with the industry, with the people inside this industry. And of course, my family, I raised a family through this industry, and I'm blessed. I have so much to say that I'm thankful for, but so much more that I want to get back to the industry. So that's what we're trying to do right now, is get back. So that's how I got into this industry. And Lou came in about a year after I was in the industry, and I was at the same dealership, and I was the floor manager, and he can tell you his story.
And when I was processing out of the military, because I was in the Army and I was stationed at Fort Knox, honored, and it was a wait time for the post office to give me a call, basically. Was trying to use some of that government service to get into the post office. And I was so excited to be the happiest delivery guy on the block. Everybody was going to be pumped up and happy to get there. Anything from me coming on down the road with a big smile and a here's your package. In the processing of getting out of the Army, my sergeant major, the post sergeant major, who was my commandant inside of leadership school, he comes up to me and he says, Ramirez, and he's a big, tall Italian from Brooklyn. I'm originally a New Yorker. And he comes up to me and he says, you getting out of my Army, Ramirez? And I said, yes, Sergeant Major. And he said, well, listen, go down to this dealership where my sister works at, his daughter works at, and go check them out. There's some military people that are there. I think that you'll do really great at that. And I said, okay, Sergeant Major. And I took my packet and kept on moving on out, right? Processing, waiting on the post office to call. And then I saw an ad in the paper that was to the dealership Fred was working at, and said, you know what? This was the exact store that Sergeant Major told me about. let me go check it out. Went to the interview, was hired in a pool of a bunch of other salespeople, had the chance to meet Fred. We kicked it off right away. And from there, we started building ourselves up in the auto industry. He already had some time in, so I definitely pulled all I could education wise from him to be able to start doing what it took to build up my career. But from growing up in New York to stopping in Kentucky, staying in Kentucky, and from there learned with a whole bunch of thoroughbreds in this business how to be able to really take care of people. And it's paved the way for a very, very, very fun time inside of this industry.
You guys, you both said, how great this industry is in terms of taking you wherever you are at, meeting you wherever you are at in your life, and giving you an opportunity to, create something. You can't do that in every industry. I think that's right. I mean, I think that's one of the things I love so much about automotive, not just the people, but no matter where you are in your life, if you need a chance or you need someplace to start, you could start in automotive.
So true. And we're trying to champion that, folks.
I agree.
Trying to let everybody know
the
that.
coolest thing about this for anyone who's not in automotive watching this is that once you get in, you understand why a lot of people are in this industry, because there's a lot of great people. The stigmas that we've seen are changing, and there's people changing those stigmas currently. I think Lou and I are two of the people who are doing it. And there's a million others that are just doing amazing things to show that we are good people, we are family people, that this industry can bring everything to you. And all you got to do is just bring your energy, bring your enthusiasm, and put work in. And you'll go far in this industry. So it's a great place to be, and I'm honored to be part of it for sure.
I mean, I count my blessings every night. I've only been in the industry 1 year. I met you guys about a year ago at I think we were at Digital Dealer. It's my first conference with VinQ, right? Immediately, I felt like I'd known you my entire life. And I feel that way about a lot of people that I meet in automotive. There's just something about the people here. So I'm proud to say I love it here. There's no other industry for me. I'm done. And I'm going to stay as long as they'll have me.
We're lucky to have you. That's for
awesome
sure.
for that.
We're very lucky to have you in this industry. When I first met you, I felt the same way. It's you're an amazing asset to not just VinQ, but to the automotive industry and to people that are in the industry. Having a conversation with you is fun. It's always uplifting. You're always endearing. You're always, trying to help people, and that's big. You're always there to be a light when it's dark somewhere. So we appreciate you.
And that's why we put her on the show.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we had her on the show.
In front of you, and we had a great time with you. Yes,
that was my first show.
We broke the box with you. That's right.
You did.
Honored to be your first. Thank you for letting our platform be your first. Heck yeah.
You guys are awesome. I want to hear a little bit about what you're doing now, because first of all, I want to hear what you're doing, and then I want to hear why coffee. Of all the things you could pick, why coffee? And what do you do today, and how do you support dealers?
Woo!
I'll take the coffee. You take what we're doing today.
All right. It's good to me. Today it's always something different, right? That's the thing I love about this industry is I was told once not that long ago that what is there really to talk about? It's the same thing. And I remember being like, no, man, this industry is constantly evolving, and there's all kinds of amazing people in it. There's a lot to talk about, right? And that's why I knew the show would be successful in the Car Guy Coffee podcast. So what we do today is like a two-part thing. We have a media company, which is Car Guy Coffee Podcast, and anything that's affiliated with that, and whether it be our speaking, us being at events. And then, of course, we have our agency, which is the Certified Solutionaries. And the Certified Solutionaries it's becoming more an agency. I think it's becoming a movement. And I love that. But for us, it's our way to be able to get into dealerships and be able to share this movement, to be able to share different cultures and different perspectives to help dealers achieve what they want. And somebody asked us a long time ago, what are you really great at? I read the book Good to Great by Mr. Collins, right? Great, phenomenal book. Finding that thing that you're great at. What I'm really great at is helping people reach the next level. So that works great for both businesses. For Car Guy Coffee, when we introduce people, we put them on there. Look at, I mean, we have you came on the show, and now you're doing your own. I'm just saying, it's just little things. It's the energy that we bring, so the energy it's even in both. Like you're going to get it with our agency, you're going to get it with our media company. But the difference is that with our media company, it's it's not about us educating people. It's about the people we bring on educating and inspiring, right? With us in the agency, it's us coming in, getting the knowledge that we get from the people we meet on our show, the network of folks that we have along the way at all these events that we go to, through the couple decades that I have in the industry, the four decades we have combined in the industry, of all the people, knowledge, processes, and everything that we're able to bring into stores and help rejuvenate what they're going on. So I'm helping people every which angle I'm looking at, and I'm absolutely thrilled about it. The agency is doing extremely well. We're growing. It is still small in the sense where it's just Lou and I, but we do plan on making strides with that. So we are looking for people to join us on this mission. But at the end of the day, you know, we want to make sure it doesn't get watered down, and we want to make sure that it is still strong brew that the dealerships can use to caffeinate their cultures, right? And so that kind of brings you to why we have coffee. And I'll let Lou explain that. Because when I started the podcast, when we started the podcast, when I thought about the podcast and I reached out to Lou about it, coffee wasn't on my mind. It was, hey, I'm growing right now. I want to share this. I see that social media is a great outlet. Podcasting is becoming something. I want to be part of that movement too and be able to share the message. But I didn't know what message I wanted to share. And then I reached out to Lou because I needed a partner. I knew that if I had somebody do it with me, that it would happen. Like it wouldn't be held back by anything like my own excuses, right? I let my excuses go when I have somebody else that depends on me. And so when we did that, I reached out to him. I said, hey man, I want to do a podcast. And he was like, yeah, dude. I said, dude, but I want you to do it with me. And he was like, okay. Basically said yes. And then real quick, and he was like, do you have a name for it yet? And I was like, honestly, I don't even know what I wanted. I just know I want it to be inspirational, motivational, all that stuff, because that's where I'm at right now. And then he was just like, I got one. And I'll let him tell the rest of the story.
It's a Car Guy Coffee podcast. And inside of that, there's a little bit of a story of where the Car Guy Coffee, the name itself came from. Salesperson was trying to understand the energy that was sparked off inside of a Saturday getting ready for the lot at the dealership. And this was his first Saturday working with me as he was running the sales floor. And he asked me, he said, man, what are you on? Because I got music going, balloons are getting blown up, and I'm pumping everybody up. Let's go, get out from your desk. That's not where you need to be. It's time to set up the lot, right? Let's go, let's get this party started. He said, man, what are you on? And I'm holding my coffee in my hand. And I said, I'm on Car Guy Coffee. And just kept ringing that sound. And over time, as we started to lace it into everything that we're doing, the premise is that we are the coffee of the industry. We are not the ones that are going to do what it is that you all do great. Whatever measure it is that you do in the industry, whatever it is that you do, we're not the ones that are going to do it for you. But what we are here to do and committed to do is give you something that energizes your heart, that gets your heartbeat up just a tad enough to caffeinate the culture around you. And inside of creating that conversation where we're always brewing solutions on the podcast and brewing out what's the best of everybody to present, we then keep that correlated to the agency where we want to be able to help businesses from all commodities, from coffee to cars and everything in between, be excited, be rejuvenated, and be caffeinated to do what it is that they do best. We can put it in your cup, but you got to drink it up. And that's what we want to make sure we're consistently pouring out for the entire industry, is the solutions that it takes to solve the problems that we see every day, and also just enjoy relaxing while getting energized together, just like going to a cafe and having a cup of coffee and a conversation with people that you like and trust, right? We want to create those cultures in all businesses that we have the chance to be able to pour out into. So from the platform of the podcast to the agency, the idea is to caffeinate the culture. And that's just by pouring out a little bit of what we get when we all get on a hot seat.
That's brilliant. Honestly, I'm not going to be able to drink coffee anymore without thinking about you guys.
Good. That's what we're trying to do.
Point.
If anybody thinks coffee in this industry, we want them to think of us. We want them to think of us.
It worked.
Yes.
It worked. I love it. I love it. Got it. So in your business where you're working with customers, how have you seen things evolve with your customers? Either at a micro or a macro level? Like, what comes to mind when I asked you, how are things evolving for your dealers?
That's a great question. And it's different for all the dealers. Of course, we deal with everything from a multi-franchise dealership groups to buy here, pay here, everything in between, and seeing the adaptation that they're all having. It's something that's fun, and sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, what is going on, right? Because everybody sees what's happening at a different level. The difference is getting everybody focused, which is our main mantra: forgive, focus, fly. But to be able to get focused in on what it is that they can do, they have the capability to impact today, who it is that's around them, and what resources they have to make today the best day, rather than everything that does evolve around them. And the challenges are different for everybody. They really are. And it's fun to see, though, the people that really take ownership of their day and their routines and of their activities, to see them evolve into who steps up to whatever comes to the market. Because we're always telling people, well, one challenge is one challenge this year, but next year you're going to have another one, right? We're going to be speaking about a whole new challenge that's going to come. It's adjusting the mindsets that face those challenges.
Absolutely. And what, like you said, it's about that. I out there, what I see is that it all comes down to leadership always, period, hands down. Does not matter about anything else. You can have the best processes, the best software, the best everything, best CRM, the best DMS. Does not matter if your leadership is not on board. If that leadership doesn't hold anyone accountable, if that leadership isn't talking about the products that they have, if the leadership isn't using those things, the dealership is not going to be successful. They'll be successful in some ways, right? We're still selling cars, but how many would you be selling if you actually used all this stuff? How much better would your culture be if you guys were all together as a team? How much more fresh would this fish be if the head wasn't rotten? And that's the thing. Like, I look into that a lot, and I see that as being the biggest struggle out there. Like, we have a lot of clients, and we've been blessed with some great leadership. So we go in and we deal with people. It's always kind of awkward at first. They got to feel us out. Are these guys for real? Or how long have they really been in the business? Do they really know? How much
coffee have they actually had?
Are these guys are just motivation guys? These guys are just inspiration. Yeah, we are that, but we are way more than that. And it's not us, it's the teams. So the education that we're able to bring, I like to lead that into the leadership. I like to sit down with them and let them get involved in the training. It's not just about what we say and what needs to be done. It's about what they believe and what we can put together so that they get involved. Soon as leadership gets involved, their numbers always go up. Software, no software, does not matter. Initially, their numbers will go up because activities are happening and are being done enthusiastically. And if they're not happening, there's accountability for that. Once that is established, everything else works really well. You could bring in a great product like, and very well, VinQ. VinQ has some phenomenal stuff going on right now. That's just to name one. But I'm going to name them because I love VinQ. Not only are they like a sponsor, but we are partnered up with them. We have a lot of our clients currently using. We're at one right now.
Team VinQ.
Hashtag Team VinQ. We are here at one right now. Matter of fact, you can see the logo behind us, Rainbow Motor Sales, and they are a current client also. And what I love about products like that is they work extremely well, but they work really well. They are like top notch when leadership is involved and they have everybody in process being held accountable for what they need to do. Which accountability, my friends, for all you all out there, just so you know, it's not a bad word. It's not something that's not punishment. It's not. Accountability is love. Accountability is really believing in what you do. Accountability is doing your job.
Right.
So that's all we have to ask people to do. Ask leaders to do it first. And once leaders do it, everything will work. And then you can start implementing anything you want inside that store that makes sense. And it will just explode in that store. And that's what's big, So anyway, that's what I see. And that's what I believe is the big shift. I think it's always been the shift, right? But I think that we're seeing that there's a struggle with that because a lot of the leaders have been taught sales and processes from 10, 15 years ago. And that's what they're coaching today. And they're trying to, I worked when I did it. Well, yeah, it still sort of works now. But that's not what is the best way to do it today. And it's not something that we should be teaching the next generation. We should be teaching them what is today, right? So I think leaders need to get back to training themselves. I think that owners need to get their leaderships into continual training and continual motivation so that they can be ready to teach the newer things. Because it's not really their fault if they don't know. That's one thing I say is like, it's not really their fault if that's all they've been taught.
They
That's all
got
they
it
know.
honestly.
Right. And they made a decent wealth doing that. I get it. But this is 2023, my friends. Year of greatness. Let's get great at what we do. Let's not just get by at what we do.
Yeah,
Right.
the shift that is happening consistently right now is that more and more leadership is starting to find that they themselves have to be developed and educated, and that their people need to be, and that if they do make the investment into their people to educate them to be the best that they can be, well, then now everything gets elevated. Danny had introduced us, or says it very often, a rising tide lifts all ships. And the recognizing that if we're gonna grow, we have to be able to pour stuff into us that we didn't have before. And the opening of the floodgates of all the different education, all the different ways to get education to you, has made it to where now leaders are starting to recognize we all have to be developed, not just the salespeople, not just the service techs, right? But people in leadership roles, people in the office, we have to learn how to communicate different. I mean, for goodness sake, we all had to do commerce completely different than how we ever known it. Teachers had to learn how to teach full classrooms full of kids, and not one of them was in a building, right? And inside of all of this advancement of education, people are recognizing we have to develop. And we are convinced that if you want to really develop your business, develop your people, just like any other successful team, it develops each and every player individually in order to add to a successful team that can accomplish just about anything. And not just shooting for the numbers, but learning how to shoot for each other, work for each other, the client, the coworker, and the community. But there's
Wow, power. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lou, I cut you off. What was the last part of your sentence?
We didn't know where to end it because we can talk on this forever. We're trying to find a spot where do we hit pause on that? Because really there's a lot that's shifting, but I think personal development is huge. It has inside of our life, and it's inspired many, many other people to continue to do so. But for those leaders that do sit down, take notes themselves, and commit to educating themselves, that trend is developing throughout their entire business. And that's what's bringing so much growth and availability to adapt to whatever comes our way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And you guys are, you know, my background is in technology, right? So I was with Hewlett Packard Enterprise, Hewlett Packard, EDS, Sprint. You know, I was with the tech companies, and everything we talked about all the time, which was coming up starting, probably about 10 years ago, was digital transformation. And that's really what you're talking about when you talk about not only you have to have the leadership side of the mindset, but you also have to understand the new modern tools and capabilities. You said it, Fred, what you did 15 years ago is not necessarily going to get you today. What you need to understand the tools and the capabilities that are available to you, and leverage that. And I see a huge opportunity in the automotive industry to like drive this digital transformation, like a platform like VinQ. Okay, I'm going to do the commercial. Okay, right? It's a next gen modern platform that has all of the inventory management solutions you could want or need all in one place. So that means that the data is in one place. And now giving dealers access to that data allows them to have better insights, which gives them, you know, the ability to understand, make better decisions, will lead to higher profits. So now you combine these modern tools with modern leadership techniques, and there's no stopping these dealers.
No, and listen, you're pointing it out from the seat inside of an organization that is doing exactly that. The dealer is breaking the box that they supposedly sat in and recreating solutions for all to benefit from. The for dealers by dealers flow of VinQ is that next level of growth that our industry needed for people that didn't want to just stay. I'm just a dealer. I don't want to contribute to anybody else. I don't want to help them. I don't want to help anybody else get better, right? That old mindset of let's just keep our secrets within and never share that it would impede anybody's growth, no matter what. And inside of that, you all are spearheading something that's happened throughout technology in the industry right now. and inside of many and multiple layers of the business. People are pulling out from the dealership setting into the industry to be able to add to many more. And that's exactly what we did too, right? We had our teams, we were growing very good. Everything's good. Money's great. But we didn't have to really do much more growing, right? We could have said we were good. But instead, there's so much more to give. And that's why from there, pulling out from the one place to being able to share ideas, learn from many and give to many, that trend is happening industry-wide as well. Danny leads the way with that, and so do many others. And that is a big piece, I think, too, in the industry, that people are saying, hey, I see this issue. You know what? We have the technology to figure out how to solve it. Let's do it.
I can go all the way back to when I talked about leadership again, and to include vendor partners such as VinQ. Leadership matters.
Yes.
There's a lot of great companies out there that just don't have good leadership. There's a lot of great vendor partners that have great products that would do well if there was leadership and accountability at those places. Things will be put into places that are like, great, this is a great idea, these things should work, but there's no one holding anyone accountable to make sure that those things are happening. And if you ask them, they don't all get back to you, and they almost like a bad car dealership. They never call you back. So it's like, so leadership matters. Inside a business like VinQ, I know the leadership there. You know, I mean, I know, not only do I know the CEO, but I know the CMO, right? But I know every level of that. I know every level in that company, and I know what's happening. There's constant growth. There's constant everything. And that's why that business is doing what it's doing, and why VinQ is not just a great product, but it's backed by great people. So understand that for anyone out there, it's the conversation to have with them is great, because you're going to have a great conversation. Whether you agree it's going to be a great product for your store or not, the conversation, you'll leave there educated, empowered, and encouraged. That's what you need to make sure that you leave with any type of thing you get through. And you all do that. And that's why I respect VinQ so much, why we've been partners with you all for so long, and why we continue to keep that partnership, because of what you all are about. And to me, it all starts with that. Then, I mean, here, let me tell you, folks, that leadership's so good there, and this should look inside any business. When leadership is that good, the staff is phenomenal. Everybody, every level, anytime they bring someone new in, you're blown away by the way they talk and how great they are and how enthusiastic they are. And it's great. That is a great culture. When you have great culture with great product, you are successful. Hands down, you'll always do some great things and you'll keep growing. And most importantly, what I love about what you all are doing is you're not resting on your laurels. You guys are constantly adapting and making your product even better. It doesn't just stay here. It's grandfather product. This we're just going to keep it this way and keep making money on. Keep looking for ways to improve it, because your dealers speak and you listen. And I love that. So cheers to VinQ on that stuff and the leadership there.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I love Lou, you can't cheers and not drink. So when you cheers, you have to, I'll take the, okay. You have to have a drink when you cheers. Okay. Right. So, and you're right. And I feel very fortunate to be able to work for guys like Chris Hoke, our CEO, and Danny, our managing partner, because the beauty of Danny even says this, look, I'm not competing with you because I want you to win. This is what he says, right, to other dealers. So he saw a need and he saw a problem in his own dealership, and he wanted to solve it, not just for himself, but for the whole dealership body. And, it's not just words, it's in how we deal, with our dealers every single day. And I'm really proud and excited to be here.
Oh, you should be, and they're lucky to have you. Yep. And look at you, you're reaching out, and they encourage this type of growth. Hey, stretch yourself, do this. We got your back. We support you on this, and you're doing it. We're so proud of you. And like I said, this last year, look how far VinQ's grown. Look at their visibility. And I wouldn't say that's a coincidence. Not saying, don't get me wrong. They were moving, but definitely it takes everyone. It takes a village to make it go. So
for sure. All right, a couple more questions and I'll let you guys go. This has really been great. I mean, I seriously could talk to you all day. Right. This is really wonderful. Thank you. So what do you guys think the industry is going to look like in 5 or 10 years?
Ooh, that's a very, very great question. To me, what I do see the industry looking like on the side of the dealerships themselves is that it's going to be almost to the level of you have to be educated, to be able to handle every level of the dealership, whether it's in the back, inside of the service department, because of where everything's going technology wise. Nobody can get past of having to educate themselves to the level that it's going to take to be the mechanics that it takes to service the vehicles of the future. The evolution of the vehicle is always happening, and it's constantly going to change and to adjust. The evolution of the buyer is also changing, and because of the level of I guess splinters there are in being able to take care or service or acquire a vehicle, the level of education that's going to happen dealership wise is going to have to seriously step itself up on the level of educating how to communicate with people and how to communicate with the community and customers. That is the standard for education inside of all levels of a dealership. We believe is going to escalate greatly, mainly because everybody's still trying to figure out how to adjust to a generation that speaks different than the generation that we're learning from, right? And in that capacity of understanding is having to increase. It's having to change. Think that not just on the education level, but also in the relevance that the dealerships have inside of the community is going to increase greatly. We believe that there's a lot that's going to change on the community being able to rally around the dealerships rather than revolting against, if that makes sense. What do you think?
Well, I think that we're going to see technology go 100 times more than it has in the last 5 years. I think that the dealers that don't start to get educated, like Lou's talking about, and really learning how to use these things and how to be able to communicate to the younger generation and to the younger consumers are going to really have struggles. I think ones that actually take heed of this and they start to really get themselves into this century and really look at ways to improve, not just them, like, listen, owners, you don't have to be the most technically sound person in your mind, but you have to be educating your staff on it. You have to at least have programs for that. There's an auto group out there, the Bozard, and I love them because they're building up their own like internal training, and they're showing, and not only that, but they're also like at Beaver Toyota, they have ways to show people how to get to the next level in their career, and there's education there for them. So we have to have that type of fortitude. We have to make sure that our teams and our leaders are giving their staffs opportunities to not sit and plateau out in their lives, but to be able to peak out and keep moving, and also give them directions on how to. The biggest thing that most people have is fear to get to the next level because they just don't know how to. So they're like, I got to go learn, I got to do this. But when it's put right in front of you, it makes it so much easier. It's like handing somebody a map and showing them where they're at and where they need to go. It's so much better when you have a map instead of just trying to walk there and base it off the way the sun looks at that moment, right? Life has changed. Technology's come around. It's our job to show them. With technology, by the way, we can educate our staff so much easier through Zoom meetings, through digital videos, through AI. Come on, man. I'm just saying AI, next 5 years, let's talk about that. There's a lot more that's going to be involved with that. We're seeing really cool stuff with ChatGPT right now, which is phenomenal, how you can just make things happen. I still need to learn more about it. So talk about education. I need to learn, but I am impressed by what I've seen so far and so much. But man, I've heard it from Glenn Lundy a year ago, and I believe it to this day. These next 5 years are going to be like the last 100 years in technology growth. And if we're not literally learning that, we're going to get behind, and then the industry will be like, we're 20 years behind. Not the old saying, we're 5-10 years behind in technology. We'll be 20 years behind if we don't start to just do it. But that's why I'm thankful for companies like VinQ and so many others out there that are bringing technology to the forefront, but making it sexy at the same time. Having fun with it, going to every event that they could possibly have to be able to share it. And it's not sharing, come buy VinQ. It's sharing the idea behind VinQ. It's sharing. That's why I love about watching Danny speak. He's up there educating a dealer that can literally do it themselves if they took the education. But why would you if you already have a case study product that you can go and really look at and have a great idea of what's going on from the man himself, right? And after he speaks. But that being said, I mean, that's the future. I see it changing a lot. And I think that people need to get really into that technology because technology is not going anywhere. It's just getting better. So
That's right. Well, guys, look, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I know that we're nearing our end time here. Is there anything you'd like to say to our audience that you'd like to close us, bring us home, close it out?
Absolutely. We want to make sure that we do share the method to make sure that you do consistently keep growing. A certified solutionary is somebody that knows the way, shows the way, goes the way. We operate with 5 core values. The first one is love. The second one is faith. The next one is honor. The next one is adaptability.
Hey,
And then we do all of those things consistently.
That's
And
right.
if we want to keep brewing solutions for the industry where we do keep growing, we have to make sure that we drop some F-bombs that don't offend the moms. And that's to forgive, focus, fly,
And fly.
growing. But there's motions that go with that. So we say, keep dancing all the time, everybody. But that's our main message. We want to make sure anybody that ever hears us learns is to forgive, focus, fly, so that you can keep growing. There's always going to be a challenge. We always need to fight for focus, and you have the ability to fly if you believe it. And so stretch out and do so. But there are the moves for it. You're already a pro. You did it on the show. So do it with us real quick. Rizzo, on 3, let's forgive, focus, fly. 1, 2, 3.
Forgive.
Forgive,
Focus.
focus,
Fly.
fly.
Keep growing. That's right.
Keep growing. There you go. There you go.
I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. We honor you. We appreciate you.
All right. Well, until the next show, I'll see you. Hopefully I'll see you at the next show, wherever that may be. And you're going to get big hugs.
Can't wait to hug you.
Can't wait to
to
see
All
hug
right,
you.
guys.
you.
Thank you
Looking
so
for the
much. Have a
onesie.
great,
Looking for the onesie.
the onesie,
Yes, shoot that onesie to the grave,
the
baby.
VinQ onesie. That's
Yeah.
right. I promised you a VinQ onesie. I got to get on that.
Well, we love you. We appreciate you all.
Thank
Love
you
you.
guys. Have a great day.
Peace.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Peace.
Bye-bye. Well, that was a great interview. I loved spending time with Fred and Lou. And we will see you next time on Cue the Next Leader. This is Angela Rizzo, Chief Marketing Officer at VinQ, and look forward to the next time and the next interview. Take care.